Half a day Fanatsu listeners, this is Annie Fay Camacho with another great episode lined up for you. Now, before we begin today's episode, I just want to hop on real quick and do what I have been doing for the last 3, 4, who knows how many episodes. But if you've watched any of my episodes in the last year, you already know what I'm about to do, and that is make an apology. Shout out to Roquin for being such a great guest, and apologies to Roquin for not being such a great editor or producer or whatever you want to call me, because yet again we have been struck, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary people, by an audio issue. Once again, we have another audio issue, and I can't help it, but it happened, and nevertheless we persisted. It's not as rough as last time, but you know, it does get better in the middle of it. Our audio comes back, our more professional audio, I guess, comes back halfway through the episode, and there is also a point in the beginning half where the camera did shut off, but that's why we have backup cameras, and that's fine. And also, I didn't have my regular assistant this day. Marian, shout out to you. She was watching over those kids in close up, and now she's taking the rest of her teacher vacation, as she should. But anyway, apologies again for the issues, but it's still a great episode, and I hope you enjoy. Half a day Fanatsu viewers, it is me, Annie Fay Camacho. Did you miss me? Because I missed you, kind of, I think.
You missed them. It's okay to admit that you missed somebody.
But do they miss me?
I think we missed you. Stop. I know I missed you.
Oh my god, Well, anyway, we are back with another episode today. And before we jump into the episode, I just want to say that before we started recording this video, we actually recorded a special Patreon-only video where Roquin teaches me how to weave this. So throughout this video, you're going to see us weaving bracelets. And if you guys want to learn about weaving bracelets and maybe just hear a little bit more from us, subscribe to the Patreon and join that whole community. Get more exclusive videos. There's a lot of other people on that Patreon page making great work, and this is a great way to support all the people making this educational videos, fun videos, whatever the video it is that you guys are watching on Fanatsu are. And without further ado, actually, before, let me get that ado back. Let me bring it forward. For those of you that don't know me, my name, again, is Annie Fay Camacho, and I am the co-chair of Media and Solidarity for Independent Guåhan. Right, there we go. Almost forgot. That was egotistical me, I assumed. And that's not what we do. That's not what we never assume.
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm here with Roquin. And Roquin, I would love for you to tell me who you are. How are you? What do you want from life? What's your next 5 years look like? Just kidding.
Thank you, judges, for that question. Yeah, that's a very good question. My name is Roquin-Jon Quichocho Siongco. I'm really happy to be here weaving with Annie and being able to talk story and weaving. What's my 5 years? Shoot, honestly, stand back with the dream garden, you know, where I can grow my leaves, be by the beach. No more, no less, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, today's episode is going to be about whatever comes out of our mouths. Truly. If you guys have seen some of my videos, one thing you will know is that I am open and I am honest. And I have admitted to y'all when I don't have a plan. And today is one of those days. And you know what? Sometimes life is just like that. You don't have a plan, but it's about learning how to carry on. Like we were just saying earlier, nevertheless, she persisted. Quote, whoever said that, we're trying to figure out who said that. We could have Googled it, but that's not in our spirit right now.
We live in the present, we live in the now.
Yeah. But anyway, one of the many, many, many reasons why I wanted to do this episode with Roquin is because if you don't know already, it's Pride Month. It's our month, so all the straights sit down.
Patatsin fam.
Honestly, be quiet. No, I'm kidding.
But amplify those other voices. You know what I mean? Don't be quiet, but amplify.
Never be
those
quiet.
Voices.
Don't sit on issues that you should speak up about.
That's right. Don't eat that fish. Go with the flow.
Yeah, exactly. Love how, and that's why he's here. For the knowledge, for the charisma, uniqueness, talent, and nerve and talent.
You can spell.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Dyslexia there for a little bit.
It's okay.
But the reason why I wanted to interview him was, of course, because it's Pride Month. And you know what? It would be so remiss of me to not speak to a fellow queer during Pride Month, to not have a Pride Month episode.
Queer where?
Huh? Anyway, but I always love doing a Pride episode in June, so this year is no different. Roquin has a lot he could tell us about. He's with Equality Guåhan, or Equality Guam, and he's just making beautiful art, beautiful work. Honestly, his photos eat like no crumb.
Gluten where?
None. It was gone before. Auntie was making gluten and her plate at the same time. Exactly.
4 rounds though. Yeah.
There was enough for all.
Yeah.
And all are satiated.
Mm-hmm.
But before we really get into all of that, since we're weaving, by the way, we are at SKC.
Starting to Turan tomorrow.
Yes. And that is because Roquin weaves here. He's also an amazing weaver, does classes
every Sunday from 10:30 to 1-ish when I am here. If there's a sign posted out the window, sorry. It may have been a holiday or I was on holiday, so.
And you know what? You deserve it.
Yeah. We got to make sure that this work is sustainable for us. And this is a craft and art form that has taken me to a lot of places, so I'm really excited to talk to you about it.
Taking you to many places in what way? Or actually, before we even say that, how'd you get into weaving?
So I started weaving when I was about 8 years old. It was at the elementary school that my teacher, Senora Flores, taught me how to weave an apacha, which is a little grasshopper. And from there, I remember I looked around the room and I saw all these weavings all around. And I was like, wait, you mean to tell me that all of this is just leaves that you fold? It blew my mind. It blew my mind. And from there on, I just kind of would go into the backyard. I would fit around with some leaves. My teacher could only teach me the small things, so when I wanted to learn the bigger things like baskets, hats, or more innate stuff, it really was a lot of problem solving on my own. When I did approach middle school, though, I did happen to move out to Washington State. They don't have coconut trees there, but I did end up picking up stuff like origami and jigsaw puzzles, things of that like. And that was also I would say an informative time in terms of it's puberty time, you're figuring yourself out, what you like, what you don't like, and a lot of my discovery of my queer identity was stateside in that context. And it was always this kind of in between of being back home and understanding that the day-to-day practices, I think we're accepting, but it's not very expressive with our gender expressions outside of a normal binary. So I always try to make it a point to where I bring my queerness extra hard when it comes to cultural things, and then bring my culture into predominantly queer spaces. So I was able and very fortunate to be able to go back and forth between stateside and here in Guåhan. And every time I would come back home, whether it be for summer or for vacation, I always remember like immediately going into the jungle and like picking leaves and remembering what I could remember. And then I was also fortunate enough to be able to learn from First Nations elders out in Washington State or Salish, Coach Salish territory, as well as like from all over. And understanding that there is this almost like universal language, but also conversation that people have with the land and their environment through weaving, and understanding that these conversations can change depending upon our needs and our desires. Something that I'm really like fascinated by. And so in thinking of it in that way, I really enjoy kind of guiding conversation, trying to remember things that were forgotten, because I mean, at the end of the day, colonization is just repression of expression, whether it be like, in every aspect of our life. And so I feel like whenever I'm weaving or whenever I'm like exploring my chorness or just exploring my body in just this world where it is today, and being honest about being a reflection of that, whether it be like the pain, the joy, remembering, forgetting at the same time, like, I think it's just cool, you know? That's what I like find that drives me and drives my craft.
I love your story, and I love the idea of kind of bringing every part of yourself into every space, right? So kind of highlighting your awareness in tomorrow spaces, your tomorrow in queer spaces, you know. And I think one of the many things that I love about it is in the way that you are normalizing the existence of both in one body, right? I think there's times where a lot of people will feel the need to, cling on to one specific identity, or, when they're in one certain space, they'll only be that one certain space.
Yeah.
Right? That one certain identity. So like if I'm in a tomorrow space, I'll just be tomorrow, but then my queerness is like hidden. Right? But in that way, it's a beautiful thing where it's like, no, queerness is tomorrow. Tomorrow is queerness, whatever it may be. And it's also just the bravery and normalizing so that it no longer becomes a brave act. I think about that a lot. How people are like, oh, you're so brave. And it's like, I wish it wasn't bravery. I wish it was just something we all did, and it wasn't just in so many things you do. It's like, why does my normal movements have to be so big? Which in the stage of normalizing, it's great, but I think there always comes a point where it's like, wow, I wish it wasn't taxing, or I wish maybe these small acts weren't put on such a pedestal, because it shouldn't just be one person. Right? But in a lot of moments, it is one person, because it truly is brave acts sometimes to be able to, be with yourself, be in yourself, be knowing, be comfortable, to be all the things that you need to be.
Think how much time, energy, and effort in our lifetime that we would save if we had an opportunity to figure ourselves out with a little bit easier, a little bit faster. The amount of love that we're actually able to then share with others once we love ourselves.
No, absolutely. Oh, you know why? That just reminds me, I'm in this book club.
Tell me about it. I don't read, but I read.
Oh, you read.
I read.
You read up and down.
Left to right be a starter.
Absolutely. Okay, yeah, but I'm in this book club. And before I talk about this book club, we're getting to a point in the video where I need to tell you that if you see maybe like a dark spot on anywhere in my shirt that may or may not be some kind of perspiration, maybe mind your business.
Yeah. You know, our ancestors were around chocolates for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very like free soon.
It's a little hot on Guam.
Yeah. To be doing like any of this, honestly.
And you know what? Should I have wore something a little bit, you know, maybe lighter? Sure. But that's not what happened today.
Yeah.
And we're gonna move on. Right? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you for being so graceful.
Yeah.
For so gracious. Mm-hmm. Love you too.
For liking, subscribing, and minding your business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But like I was saying, I'm in this book club, and we are reading this book called All About Love by Bell Hooks. Have you read it? Have you heard? Have you?
No, I haven't had the luxury yet of time.
Oh, you know what? Luxury is such a choice of a word, because at some point,
the privilege. I haven't had the honor and the privilege yet.
No. But no, what I was gonna say, I would say, luxury is it could be a word choice, because this book was raw. Let me tell you. I knew it was gonna be rough, because Mama Hooks over there.
Yeah. Doing her thing.
It really is all about love, and it's about like self-love. So when you said self-love, like that was something I was talking about. It's about romantic, platonic, and just literally, you know, all about love, about greed and power and like feminism, like so much wrapped into one. And what was it? There was just like a point in that book, like the one, I feel like whoever reads it, there will be chapters that you more than others, right? There might be ones about family, like maybe you have some issues with your parents. My own was the one about self-love, right? That one, when I finished that chapter, I did that thing where you like, maybe like it's like you'll like see something on your phone, you'll put it down, or like for me it was like I read a book, I closed it, I put it down, and I just did this number. I just like sat and I just like was still, because I was like, let me reflect on that. Wait, Miss Hooks hit me with a hook. Like she left right me, you know?
With uppercut.
Yeah, she is strong. She is powerful. But I think we're talking about self-love and stuff. One of the things that like really came to mind when I was reading that chapter, and when I just think about self-love in general, is like this journey of figuring out what self-love is supposed to look like for you, right? So I think it's easy to say that self-love is gonna be across the board, like you like yourself, where it's like this and that, but like everyone has like a different expression of it. And I think for me, I don't think I truly understood what self-love was until I was already an adult, you know? I think that's what other, people go through the same thing.
I mean, some people never.
Some people never. And you know what I recommend? Bell hooks. Maybe they'll think about it. But some people never. And, I think in that, one of the reflections I was having in that self-love chapter was was just like queerness, and about how like it's not everyone's gonna have it, but for a lot of like queer people, it's a little bit of a further struggle, and we see a lot of like people, like queer people, not really having that self-love, because self-love comes as like self-acceptance and just like being okay with your body and all that other stuff. And there's just so much to that, where there's just it's not that it's the heart I mean, it's a very hard thing. Like we said, some people don't even get it.
But I think like within the context of like even thinking about coming out, right? Like there is already a great act of self-love when you say to yourself, I'm gay. When you say to another person, I'm lesbian. When you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm trans. Like,
For sure.
to be honest with yourself is like already the first step towards that act of self-love.
Honesty is love.
Yeah.
You know,
And we're still learning practices, about what that actually looks like, unpacking what needs to be healed. Another thing I just wanted to say is like, I think we need to remember that the Chamorro worldview is so much more expensive than we think. Because, talking about intersectionality, well, I always find that, like, for me, how I articulate it is interdimensionality. Because I find that my Chamorro-ness, like, there was a whole world where people were accepted, embraced, and, like, normalized. That it's inclusive of it. Our past had to be inclusive because, like, everyone's pulling their weight, here on the island. And so, for me, it's about like rediscovering what that can look like within a Chamorro context, expanding that horizon. Because already what I see from like Western queerness, it's very like immersed in capitalism. You know what I mean? It's immersed in like white supremacy. Like that's its root.
Yeah.
So like as much fun as I love to like spins and like, have a good time, whatever I define it. Again, mind your own business. But yeah, it's just something that I know would never actually like fit. And yes, community, but also like when you're actually able to like see yourself as like a priority within the community, I think that's another like way of setting yourself up to be embraced by others, to like love others and have others love you. Malik.
Oh.
Yeah, come on.
That is a great way for me to segue into something else very important that connected to you is Equality Guam. Right? So you were just talking about, just queer spaces, or like, queer spaces and what all this other stuff does. You know what? Before we get into talking about Equality Guam, I would love to like let you in on a little story. Right? I think I told you a bit of it, but let me
into it.
Let's get into it, sister.
Like,
let's dive.
Dive right in.
But the reason why I heard about Equality Guam was because our friend Vanessa sent a flyer for their fundraiser on our group chat, and it was like, let's go. And I was like, oh, it's in 2 hours. I'm okay, down. Right?
Love that attitude.
Honestly, knew nothing about it. Absolutely nothing about it. But I was just like, well, equality. I was like, then I know it's some gay shit. Ooh. Oh, I can curse. Whatever. Come for me, Mark Zuckerberg. But yeah, I was like, I know there's some gay because I was like, okay, karaoke at Lava, down. But when we got there, me and my friend had like a really interesting experience where like the event was great and we loved it, but I think when we were in there and it was just like this whole room of like so many like queer people, like young, older, we were like making jokes where we were like looking around the room. I'm like, wow, I've never felt like homophobic in my life until this very moment.
Yeah.
I was just like, there's so many queers in here. Something about it. It's like, I'm a little homophobic at the moment. But like when we're really thinking about that, the whole idea of it being like an unfamiliar thing where it's like the feeling that we were feeling, it wasn't homophobia, of course. That's a joke, but the feeling was, this is unfamiliar, or like, you know,
this is new for you.
You don't see this many like
Right.
gays in one area, you know.
And how'd that feel? Like, I know you said that it was a new feeling for you, but like, can you describe a little further about
you
what that
know,
meant for
in
you?
a strange way, it was both beautiful and uncomfortable, which I think both of those say like a lot, right? I think beautiful because like this is a space you don't see often, and it's nice to like see faces and like to see like this, you know, to see queerness in a way that isn't issue political, that like queerness is also joy, you know.
Queerness is also joy.
Yeah, like whenever you hear about like queerness in Guam or like all this stuff, it's usually like, you know, connected to something not joy.
Yeah.
Right. So to have like the space where it's like, no, we're here to have fun, guys. I'm like, oh, okay, work. But then also thinking about like the uncomfortable feeling, right? That's tied to the same thing about like this is not something we have that often. Like of course, like Icon on the Thursday, they're spilling out over there. Like you have a 75% chance to see your ex every time you walk in Icon on a Thursday.
Yeah, I mean the show's great.
Oh yeah.
You know, the girls turn it out every single time.
And I'm always going.
Yeah. We're always there. That's the thing.
I'm literally there next week.
Yeah. So who more to be qualified than to talk about all that? Yeah.
But like, you know, in a non-Icon setting.
Yeah, because it's really loud. You can't really like talk. Can't really do this.
Yeah, you know? Like I actually connected with people in like the talking space, and it's just like
even though there's still karaoke going on and raffles.
Yeah, but you know,
lots of fun.
The uncomfortability was in like, oh, like of course it's like, of course for sure it's something within myself, right? Yeah. But I feel like it's something that other people could also share because you know, not a lot of it going around. Not a lot of these spaces where you get to like. Again, see all this queerness, so I just
and shouldn't it be though? You know what I mean?
That's why I love what you guys are doing. But I said all of this, but I didn't even say what Equality Guam is. So would you love to tell us?
Yeah, you tell me. Okay.
Oh my God! Stop.
No.
Let me Google. No. What's the mission statement?
Yeah, check on the website.
Yeah.
So Equality Guam is a local nonprofit, and we're working as an advocacy group for LGBTQ matters here in the island of Guam. That also looks like public programming. That also looks like ensuring healthcare access, both preventative, as well as like treating it, you know, with networking with different healthcare organizations, being able to provide like the best healthcare that we can provide, and with the mindfulness of our LGBTQ community. So, yeah.
When'd you guys start?
So we actually officially started in 2019, but due to COVID and just various other factors, we took a break. And so now we're coming back with new leadership and fresh ideas, ready and excited to serve our community. Coming to a village near you.
So that's Equality Guam, right?
Yeah.
But how about you in Equality Guam? Like, what got you there? Not what got you there, but why join? What kind of called you there?
Yeah. I think a lot of it has been informed with a previous group that I was with and still a part of, but with Kumagela. So our base and origin actually originates in Coach Taylor's territory in the city of Seattle. And it was kind of an amazing situation where it was a group of Chamorros who found themselves in diaspora who happened to be queer, happened to be artists, and happened to be living like around the same area. And so what we did is we got together and we were all individual artists in our own right, but we understood that there was a source material that we were calling from, and it was this Mahaling for home. And with that, we explored different mediums, we helped each other out, doing different performances together, different exhibits, stuff like that. And actually, it's coming out in June, this episode's coming out June 1st. We're going to have on June 2nd in Seattle, Washington, a celebration of our Part Land, Part Sea, All Ancestry exhibit. So if you're in the Seattle area, please go check it out. But yeah, I think having had experienced that sense of joy and community elsewhere and being able to reconnect as well as coming back here, I found myself just like wanting to continue to be a part of the community, continue exploring culture and gender and culture in its various different contexts. And I always believe that you should have a sense of home here at home. And so many folks, like, we're at this point in our history where so many of our own people are living more so abroad. And so, not to deny their Chamorro-ness, but to really have those conversations and look at what does reconnecting and staying connected look like for people. Because I think as a person who has kind of like half lived both on island and off, you recognize that there is work needs to be done in both places about being serious about preserving our culture and our heritage and ensuring that our lands and waters stay safe and clean and also with us. So,
Beautiful. I love that. I remember you guys also came out with that zine one time. That was the first time.
Yeah, the Guåhan and Puspusine.
Yeah, that's weird.
And I just remember it was such a like joyful moment. And then, funny enough, there was another publication later on that featured like all queer Chamorro writers, and it's like trendsetters. Yeah, so that was a beautiful collection of 13 different artists, both local and diaspora, of folks who happen to be Chamorro, who happen to be queer. Yeah, just exploring that at various mediums. We had like people contribute songs, people contribute poetry, visual works, exploring love, grief, sensuality. It's really cool. And yeah, we always talk about doing another one. And I think life is just, pandemic and shifts and people moving all over, like, it's kind of put it at a pause, but I think all the more that we're building up the stories for the next one,
Yeah, and you'll make it when you'll make it.
Exactly.
People will get it when they get it.
Also, the stories live within us.
Yeah.
You
just have so many little drops of knowledge there. I kind of love
drip,
it.
what can I say? Monsoon season. Go. Wash out.
But yeah, I mean, so tell me more about like these kinds of things. Like you guys said, you had like ideas for Equality Guam. Like, what are you guys up to? Like, what exactly?
Yeah, so I think getting reestablished and finding our footing again after such a long break, we're actually in the mode of kind of fundraising, and listening to folks for support and being able to provide services for our community. Because really, we're starting from ground zero at this point. Really like relaying that foundation for ourselves, because all our board members and officers right now are just doing it out of the goodness of their hearts, which is great and amazing. But we also want to make sure that our work is sustainable and that we're also able to deliver quality engagements with our community. And so, yeah, you mentioned a little bit earlier our Lava Karaoke fundraiser. On the board, we actually have a bunch coming up for June. So we're going to be partnering with Club Zo for their Pink Dot party. Yeah, we're going to be leading the motorcade. Oh,
I know you have so many other things to say. Manila Luzon.
Come on.
You're lying. I saw that. I was like, no, that's not real.
No,
like,
and then I saw a video and she said, half a day Guam. And I'm
like, no, this is AI. This can't be real. Manila Luzon coming in.
How much did you pay for this Patreon? This Vimeo,
Oh my god, that can't be right. Like,
Iconic.
What do you mean?
Mabuhay. Yes. So are you gonna run?
Huh?
Are you gonna run?
No. No, that's not in my spirit. But I'm absolutely supporting.
Of course. Yeah, you're gonna be the loudest one in the crowd.
Oh my gosh, for sure. You could see me a mile away.
Yeah. I was thinking about running, but I don't know.
Stop. You know you do.
Would you support it? Would you support it?
Oh my god. You know you're weird.
Well, I know, but there's already like, I don't know. You know what it was? Okay, so actually what it was in Seattle.
Oh,
when I explored drag.
What we're talking about, the thing we're talking about, what is it? Manila Luzon, for people that don't know, I'm so sorry that you don't know. I'm so sorry that you've been deprived of this life.
Yeah. So you again the luxury. You haven't had the luxury yet, the honor nor the privilege.
Yeah, I'm
So get on that. So you have homework to do, Miss
Absolutely.
Cooks and Miss Luzon.
When you finish this video, there is a whole season to watch. Multiple seasons, honestly. But we're talking about, drag. And she is one of the top. She is Manila Luzon. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, you have to see it to believe it.
So part of my exploration of gender expression happened a lot in Seattle, actually. San Francisco a little bit as well. But it was around like college era, so like young 20s, and I explored drag with my partner at the time, actually. And it was a very like high femme kind of center, you know. High femme expression. It was a very high femme expression. And we actually went for a pageant. It was the Utopia pageant. And Utopia is a beautiful, wonderful organization with chapters in San Francisco, in Washington State, primarily the West Coast, but elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
And the one that I was kind of exploring with was the Seattle chapter, where that was one of their like bigger fundraisers. And we both wanted to kind of like do it already. Like, you know, that was kind of like in the mindset. I feel like RuPaul's Drag Race was kind of picking up. You know, everyone kind of got like the fever. But we kind of knew already from the get-go that we wanted to do something that felt culturally relevant to some capacity. And so we actually, Utopia, you know, they have primarily being a Pacific Islander organization. It was perfect because one of the categories that they had was like island wear. And we wanted to bring it like to every single like aspect. And so, yeah, we did it twice.
Wait, I think I've seen pictures from this.
Maybe you might have.
No, if it is, oh my God, you ate down.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
You ate down.
Thank you. See you on our Patreon. She'll pull up photos, yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think that was the first time I ever saw you and your work was those photos.
Really?
And I was just like,
really?
I was just like, oh my gosh, who is this like stateside like eating it up over there?
Oh, thank you. Send what I'll say. I really appreciate that. A lot of people like, I guess, have met me later on. So it's interesting. I've never really had people like become aware. Not that I'm like a celebrity or anything.
But like you like look at
yeah, I just do it a lot.
Yeah.
I do the most all the time.
As we should.
As we should.
Do the most sustainably.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. I mean, I'm still here.
Yeah. There we go.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Yeah. No, we're still here.
We're still here.
Still here. Color purple. That's for the theater gays. No, but yeah, I guess I didn't realize that I loved everything you did.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Since ever since. Good day.
And you just continue to keep doing things I love.
Yeah. And with that like drag, you know, I think again it was, you know, we know that there's this whole new generation of drag queens that have used RuPaul's Drag Race as like their reference book. And the thing that I loved about exploring that gender aspect was being able to do it with somebody who, yes, had that like as a reference, but also like we had our beautiful island nations, you know, to look to and draw inspiration, because this is drag. Come on, like some of the like regalia, some of the costuming. Come on, like every culture has its aspect of drag, and to be able to bring it out and explore it in a new context today, I think is really cool. And I don't really practice too much anymore myself, but Rowdy does an amazing job as well. And you can find them at like Hafarowdy, HAFAROLDY.
Shout out Rowdy.
On Instagram. Yeah, come on. They're the ones eating.
We love you, Rowdy.
Serving it, you know.
But yeah, I think one of those things with one of the things with those photos that I remember when you were doing that drag pageant was something you were talking about earlier. Something you were just talking about earlier was about what was the? I wish I could quote it right now, but you said a phrase. Colonization is the oppression of expression.
Yeah, repression of expression.
Repression of
Yeah.
expression.
I mean, oppression. Yeah.
You know what?
Basically.
All of it.
Yeah, all of
the
it.
above.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the repression of expression.
Yeah.
And like that work you did there on that
Thank you.
runway.
Thank
It
you.
really was this beautiful expression that,
Yeah.
it was something so new but also not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, the first step, I remember even shopping for clothes. And it took me one time to Goodwill. And it was like our favorite store to go to. Oh my gosh, it was just down the street. It was dangerous. And it was like the Seattle Goodwill, so there's like a lot. Oh, bins. Oh no, they had racks. So I was going. Yeah, no, okay, but I did go to the bins down the street. Yes, I did. But it was really cool. I remember this moment because I think we all grew up like shopping, right? And like if you're AMAB, you're kind of just like, okay, this is like the section you go to. It's so bland, so suit, all this, all that, and then. He was like, you can also look at these racks. And it was like the women's section. And it was like, it's just clothes. Like, do you actually like it? And I was like, oh, you're right. Like, what is this like arbitrary line, between masculine and feminine clothing? And I think that's a really cool thing that we're exploring today that we see like all over TikTok, all over Instagram, this whole like expansion of like what gender could be. So I think it's really cool to see. But we just also wanted to make it like culturally relevant. So I remember like looking for like pieces of jewelry that could like take apart, refashion, like all these different things that we could stylize.
Anyway, I was gonna jump off of something you said, but I'm almost
okay. Yeah,
done with
no, I
this.
think you're doing great. So we can again tune into our Patreon to see how we started, how we wove, and how we're finishing these bracelets.
Absolutely, because I'm cutting this out. Because you know what we don't do? Free labor. I'm just kidding. What
No, we don't. We should not. I mean, acts of service and love. Yeah. Sometimes. Again, serving the community.
Yes, I mean, obviously the video you're watching is free labor. Again, not really free.
Sustainable. How do we make this sustainable?
Sustainable labor.
And we support you, and we hope that you're able to support us financially. So, again, tune into our Patreon.
I love free spokeswoman.
Come on, I have been rehearsing for this. I mentioned to them earlier off camera. I did my high school student news, so this is fun. I always love doing this.
Yeah. So she's experienced.
Yeah. Resume fat. Stat.
Thick.
Thicker than your nana's corn soup.
Ooh, you better. Anyway, we're back from a little break. Maybe you didn't feel it, but I don't know. I think I just feel like brand new. I don't know why. I just like.
I wonder.
I wonder, like, something is like so different about me, but it's like not like. But yes, we now have a beautiful bracelet. Thank you so much for teaching.
Oh my gosh, of course. Thank you for coming.
I love this. And again.
Catch us here at Sagan Katuran tomorrow. Every Sunday, 10:30 to 1-ish.
To 1 o'clock-ish.
Yeah, 1-ish.
Tomorrow time. Maybe we'll hang back. Maybe we got somewhere to go.
Yeah.
We feel
by donation, no one turned away for lack of funds. Honestly, just come and use this as like a little artist studio. So if you have a project that you're working on, just come and weave with me. Just share the space.
I love that. Building community.
Honestly.
And that's the most important thing. I think that's kind of like at the heart of everything we were talking about today.
Exactly.
About with everything that comes with all of it. Moral queerness and all that, it boils down to community and acceptance and safeness and all the other stuff.
Yeah. You're safe here at the Guåhan.
And I feel safe.
Yeah.
I feel safe. I feel protected. Also, I want one of these one day. I gotta make me one.
I gotta make me one too. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
For sure. For sure. And
Yeah.
the feeling of accomplishment when you finish,
Yeah.
oh, I'll be unstoppable.
Yeah.
I'll be unstoppable.
I mean, I will take a nap first.
Oh.
And then
sure.
I'll be unstoppable. Yeah. Yeah.
Unstoppable, insufferable. You know.
Insurmountable.
Oh, for sure. Totally forgot what we were talking about before we took that small commercial break.
Yeah. It was a long commercial break.
But the great thing about us is we can just open our mouths and something will come out. You know, we were just talking about this. Okay, so one of the things that got me to think about Roquin, to do the episode with, of course, like I said, Pride Month, and he's just a good reader in Equality Guam, and just an artist in general. But what really got it was one day we were at the ranch, and we were having dinner with our friends, like, you know, just frying up some fish and like all that other stuff. We love a good fried fish at the ranch. But then we just like kept talking about so many things. And we realized that, you know what, maybe we're two people built for podcasts, because what do? Yap.
Yeah.
We yap.
Yap.
Yeah.
I mean, which more, but we yap.
But we yap. President
That's that Micronesian
of
love
yap.
right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the secretaries. Secretaries are yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think one thing I would want to yap about again to bring up, I just talked about Equality Guam, but I feel like every time we talk about Equality Guam, we divert our yap.
Oh, sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like we keep getting like so many stories, but I think the last time we talked about Equality Guam, we were talking about the pink wall. Was it? Or
the pink dot party?
Pink dot party.
Yeah, that we have coming up. Yeah. So that's going to be at Club Zoo. Yeah. And so it draws its inspiration from this event that happens in Asia where the idea of like solidarity, so everyone wears pink and like we literally come together and form a giant pink dot.
Oh.
Yeah.
When is that?
That is going to be the end of June. That's going to be the last Sunday date here.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else do you guys? I remember you're listing some other things.
Yeah, we got a little motorcade that we're going to be organizing. And so that's actually going to like kind of lead into it. We want to encourage everyone to like deck out their cars, to be loud and proud, and join us for just some like, you know, stroll patrol, you know, peruse, you know, go pashandu, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pashandu with pride. Hey.
Copyright. Don't you dare.
Watch out. Better watch out.
This is video evidence. Evidence. You heard it here first.
Yes.
We
also have a proclamation signing. I believe that's happening the first Wednesday. We also have a forum that's going to be open to the public, and we have different conversations about something similar to this, about culture, heritage, but also being queer. I'm going to post a calendar. Stay up to date. Follow Equality Guam on Instagram.
There we go.
Yeah, and we also have a calendar posted on equalityguam.org.
I want to ask you a rather big question.
Yeah.
You know, I think in your personal opinion, but also, I don't know if you're allowed to speak on behalf of Equality Guam or something like that, but what's kind of, this is going to be the most general question, so I want you to take it with whichever way, like, you take it. What do you feel is, like, kind of the climate of queer space on Guam?
Yeah.
You know, and when I say queer space, like, really take that, wherever your mind went first, I want to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's still a range of experiences to where we have some great success stories of acceptance and embracement, you know, from our own people, from families. And to this day, we still have people that experience difficulty finding that acceptance at home, finding that acceptance at school. I don't want to paint with very broad strokes, you know, but I want to be mindful where I think we do have a lot of privileges that we have fought for. You know, we're actually like one of the first in the Pacific to decriminalize homosexual acts between two consenting adults. At the same time, we're not necessarily like codifying legislature just yet to ensure that our freedoms and liberties are safe. But I think in the actual like day-to-day practice, we have some like queer elders who have lived very full lives and have integral roles in our community as teachers, being involved with the church, community leaders. We actually have our lieutenant governor right now is like an openly gay man, which I think speaks a lot to our acceptance and our embracement. But at the end of the day, if there's anyone still experiencing homophobia and difficulties being who they are in their and difficulties being who they are here at home, then it's one too many. I think we still have strides to do in terms of informing our community about safer sex practices and actually like practicing that. I think we also can do a lot more in providing spaces for our queerness to be open and accepted. Because we have really cool things like Equality Guam. We even have our gay volleyball team, Umiti. Shout out to them.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have like our House of Diosa. Of course, giving it to you every Thursday night at Icon. And I think we all do feel like a lot of love, but I think there's also sometimes collective grief that in some ways, like we do come together and share it, but I think there's so much more to process that we can do together and that we should do together. Because I think healing ourselves, ensuring that we have a home here at home is really important, not just for those with us today, but to honor those that have gone before us, as well as to ensure the safety and well-being of those to follow. So.
Yeah, I love the idea of like coming together and community building. That's like something I love and will always love. And when you're talking about queer elders and for the people growing up now and for us ourselves, right, our own generation, I think it's so special in a way because as the way I move about, the world, therapist is one job, but I think with almost everything I do, I have therapy. That's where getting my master's and doctorate eventually, but I do.
Come on, educated.
Stop.
Come on, educated. Mm-hmm.
But I do a lot of other stuff, right? And a lot of that other stuff, when I was kind of reflecting on life, maybe like a couple of years ago, I realized that something that always makes me happy is working, like connecting with people that I know I can help in any way, right? So therapy, of course, that's the number one, right?
Yeah.
What better way to connect with someone and to really like understand and like help in the way that I can. Like, I'm, not to toot my horn, but I think I'm a good therapist. But I think that comes from wanting to connect, wanting to help. And when it comes to like this queer space, I think what really moves me is like the connection between people from like different generations and being able to tell the stories and be able to like be like, oh, this is what I went through. It's like, oh, this is it's a space like just talking to someone like one-on-one or even in like these group events or group settings. It's sharing story, which in your personal way is healing yourself. But it's also helping whoever you're talking to.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's in that sharing story, you're also bonding, and there's just so much of that, so much more of that.
Yeah, I mean, we're a culture of storytellers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think we really understand, especially when we're younger, how fast the world has changed. In this past century. Like I can remember actually, like even within my short lifetime, like a time before there was coconut rhinoceros beetle. You know what I mean? And like leaves were so plenty. Where actually in elementary school, I didn't think of it as teasing at the time, or I didn't think of it as bullying at the time, but I was already so flamboyant that the pronouns that they used for me were shim, combination she, him.
I haven't heard that in ages.
Right? So if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. But if you
But
know, I'm sorry.
yeah, if you know, I'm sorry. Yeah,
hey.
yeah, that's real.
Hey,
But
I
like,
see you.
I was like, I didn't even bother me. Like, but that sense of like still being who I am, regardless if that already felt like a little lonely in terms of being othered. Like I had friends, but I didn't have like any best friends. You know what I mean? Like there was always that little bit of distance between me and other people, and I'm still like unpacking that and learning what that means. But
and then in these kind of spaces that you're creating,
yeah,
right? You're creating a space where you don't feel othered, like you were just talking about. You know, you just feel like a person. You feel like a regular person.
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, you also feel special.
Yeah.
You build yourself in these spaces.
Well,
right?
you learn more about like who you are when you're actually able to see others reflected back at you. You know, so that's all the more important that we actually have these diversity of experiences and stories that we're able to like share, but also learn from one another. I firmly believe that like every person's a student, every person's a teacher, and actually being able to practice that with each other is really important because although we have the internet and we get those stories from like other people all over the world, like the people that are your neighbors, the people that are your family members, the people that are the people that you pass by like on the day to day, I think we have to remember that like there's the reality of living on an island, and what that means to a community for us, right? I think we need to be mindful of like what it means for people that are like reconnecting back to home, people that are like trying to take home away from us, you know, like there's so many other layers that go into it, and I think it's all the more important that you able to have a space where you're able to figure out who you are, able to be who you are, and share that with others.
And you know what? I think that proverb, that Corinthians you just dropped, that new 22nd verse.
Yeah. Verse.
Is a great. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
But I think that's a great way to end. Just with all that we talked about, I want to thank you for being here with me, being here with us, but also just being here on this earth with us and sharing yourself with us.
You know,
Yeah.
Again, it's a luxury. It's an honor. It's a privilege.
It's a privilege.
And, you know, as much as I also believe that we're just born in the wrong generation, or as much as I dream to like go back and be like born again, but in the time like before colonization, you know, we're born in this time, in this place for a reason, and whatever you believe in, I think. So, yeah. And for having me. Really
and your reason was to be able to share all this beautiful, not just knowledge, but also just you're a beautiful person with all of us.
I mean, hey, I'd be nothing without, yes, those hardships of being called Shim on the playground, but also not without the love of my people, of my community, of my family and friends. So thank you for allowing me to share my voice. And I hope that it does something for someone out there.
I'm sure it did. You know, there could be 99 people in a room that tell you no, but you only need one to say yes.
Yeah.
I need to memorize that verbatim.
It's okay.
If you don't,
I just know we're off the deep end, far from the shallow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know there's some straights watching, and I feel like I should have there's so many things we say that you probably don't understand, and we don't mean to other you.
But you've uttered us for so long. It's okay to have
it's just a little bit of reparations.
I think again, it just goes to show how much more work that they have to do in listening to queer voices to understand our point of view and listen to our problems and see where you can help.
Yeah, but then it's also, I think it's also a reminder of the deep, rich culture of queer culture.
Of course. Yes.
We're not. It's not just we're not just a a sexuality or a gender identity, gender expression. We have this whole, we're talking about community, and each community has its language and beliefs and beauty and art and culture. I'm not just one of them. And you know what? Just to like throw you guys a bone, what we were talking about, of course, straight people know it, but the gays know it by heart. That was Lady Gaga during her 50,000 interviews where she kept saying the same thing.
There can be 100 people in the room and 99 don't believe in you. But I had this one incredible talent with me. There can be 100 people in the room and 99 don't believe in you, and you just need one to believe in you, and that was him. So you can have 100 people in the room that are watching you and 99 don't believe in you, and one does, and that was him.
And we loved her for that, because you know what? At the end of the day, there could be 99 people in the room, but only one has to say yes.
Only one has to say yes, yeah.
Anyway, why don't you tell us where, in your little close-up shot, tell us where we could find you, where we could find Equality Guam, what's next for you. So what's in your next 10-year plan, 15, 20? I want to hear it detailed out per quarter.
Yeah. Financial receipts and budgeted.
Yeah. I want to see the allocations.
I need 3 letters of support. And I also need you to put half of the down payment of the financial aid that you're seeking already.
And of course, I need it notarized by the end of the day.
By the end of the day.
It should have been done already.
EOD.
I don't know why you're not. I know you gays are always late.
Period. If it ain't gay time, it's island time.
I also love doing that, where it's just like what is it, like, I'll just pretend like I'm no longer a part of it. Well, I'll be like, I know you tomorrow's always like doing this, or I know you gay people are like doing this. Straight people don't do that. You can't say those phrases. You cannot say that phrase. You can't say, you gay people, when you guys always don't. Look at me. Look at him. Look at me again. Don't. Again, but where can we find you?
I'm trying to find myself. But
you're so right. You're so right. And with that, we enter a meditative state.
But anyway, Sanamasi again for having me. My name is Roquin-Jon Quichocho Siongco. You can find me on Instagram at Roquin_Roquin. That's ROCKIN_ROQUIN. You can also follow Equality Guam on Instagram, where you can stay up to date with all our ongoings here in the community.
And thank you again so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for all those that listen. And remember to stay safe, stay informed, stay happy, stay healthy.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Whatever. Don't let anyone tell you what happiness or healthiness looks like.
But isn't that you telling them exactly what to do?
Oh my God, you're right. Don't listen to me. Oh my God, it's so hard. I'm not big brain.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. It's big. It's smooth. It's smooth.
It's a big brain, but smooth.
It's big.
No ridges. No ridges. It's just.
Say like where?
It is so smooth up there, like dolphin skin, like no ridge.
It's pretty smooth. It's pretty smooth.
But
You're pretty smooth.
Stop. That's even smoother. Oh my God.
I'm hairy.
But yes, thank you again for being here. Happy Pride Month to
Happy Pride Month.
Everybody.
Viva Pride.
Viva Pride. Show up. Remember, like we said, straight people don't be quiet. I know I told you it was a joke to be quiet for the entire month.
Again, amplify.
But
amplify.
now we're changing it because I know better. Because I learned.
Yeah.
You don't need to be quiet. You need to amplify.
That's right. Like and subscribe to the Patreon.
And like and subscribe. Absolutely.
Facebook Live, YouTube.
Yeah.
All of it.
All right. Thanks again. Bye.